Good morning, friends. All right, so today's story is a fantasy, and I have it right here. A fantasy is a story that has events and characters you would not find in real life. As we look at the pictures, this is the story we're reading, The Mysterious Tadpole. And here's what they're calling the Mysterious Tadpole. You can already think about, does that look like a tadpole we've ever seen before? I'm hoping you say no, because if you've seen this, Um, so I see an enormous animal that I'm not sure does not really exist. This helps me recognize that the selection is probably fantasy. So remember that a fantasy story is, or we're gonna see and hear things, read things that can't happen in real life. All right. So let's see what happens. Again, here's the picture. And looking at this let me see. Looking at the cover, right? And they're saying a mysterious tadpole. Can you see why they can assume that this is a regular tadpole, like a frog tadpole? Because it kind of looks like that when it's in the jar, but it doesn't seem like it's going to grow up to be a frog. It says, "Greetings, nephew," cried Lewis's Uncle McAllister. "I brought a wee bit of Scotland for your birthday." "Thanks," said Lewis. "Look, Mom and Dad, it's a tadpole." Lewis named him Alphonse and promised to take very good care of him. Lewis took Alphonse to school for show and tell. "Class, here we have a splendid example of a tadpole," exclaimed Mrs. Shelbert. "Let's ask Lewis to bring it back every week so we can watch it become a frog." Miss Shelbert was amazed to see how quickly Alphonse grew. "Maybe it's because he only eats cheeseburgers," said Lewis. "What? Are tadpoles supposed to eat cheeseburgers?" No. When Alphonse became too big for his jar, Lewis moved him to the kitchen sink. "He's the perfect pet," said Lewis. All right, so it was his birthday, right? And his uncle McAllister brought him a tadpole. Look at the face of the parents. And then they're learning about how the tadpole will become a frog, which is perfect that he has a tadpole. She's a cool teacher like me and Mrs. I, right? All right, let's see what happens. Lewis and Alphonse love to play games. "Be careful, Lewis," said his mother. "The living room is not a soccer field. Something is going to get broken." And she was right. That same day, the soccer ball slammed into Aunt Tabitha's antique lamp. "This tadpole is out of control," said Lewis's mother. "Something must be done." "It won't happen again," promised Lewis. "I'll take Alphonse to obedience school." What kind of animals do we take to obedience school? Yeah, if you said dog, yeah, right? The only animals at the obedience school were dogs. See, you were right. Some of their owners stared at Alphonse suspiciously. "Pretend you're a dog," whispered Lewis. Alphonse tried to bark, but it sounded like a burp. So here they are. Ooh, here they are playing soccer. How many times have your parents said no soccer? Right? I have to tell Joaquin all the time, no basketball in the house. And then he's in obedience school, but they're all looking. Even the dogs are looking. "Hold on a minute," said the trainer. "What kind of dog is this?" "He's a hairless spotted water spaniel from Scotland," explained Lewis. Alphonse quickly learned to sit, stay, and retrieve. He graduated at the top of his class, so he paid attention more than the other dogs. "My parents will be very pleased," said Lewis. But Lewis's parents were not pleased when Alphonse outgrew the sink, so now he doesn't fit in the sink. Where do you need to put him next? Mind you, he needs water. Let's see if your answer is right. And had to move to the bathtub. How many of you said bathtub? "This shower's too crowded," complained Lewis's father. "This bathroom is a mess," moaned Lewis's mother. So here he is from obedience school. And now he's in the shower. And look, he's still, hold on, eating hamburgers. At least Lewis's classmates enjoyed Alphonse, who was still making weekly visits. Wow, show and tell is more fun than recess, they yelled. But one day, Miss Shelber decided that Alphonse was not turning into an ordinary frog. She asked Louis to stop bringing him to school. By the time summer vacation arrived, Alphonse had outgrown the bathtub. Okay, so what other place in the house can this animal live if he outgrew the bathtub? He's outgrowing all the spaces that have water. What do you think? Where's the next place for him to go? Interesting. We could buy the parking lot next door and build him a swimming pool. Who said swimming pool? Suggested Louis. Be sensible, declared Louis's parents. Swimming pools are expensive. We're sorry, Louis, but this situation has become impossible. Tomorrow you have to take your tadpole to the zoo. Have you seen an animal like this at the zoo? Yeah, me neither. But I can't put my friend in a cage, cried Louis. So what clues do the illustrations give that Alphonse is definitely not a frog, not a tadpole? That night, Louis was very sad until he remembered that the gym in the nearby high school had a swimming pool. Louis and Alphonse hid under a carpet and smuggled him inside. Nobody uses this place during the summer, whispered Louis. You'll be safe here. What do you think? Will he be safe? I don't know. After making sure that Alphonse felt at home, Louis said goodbye. I'll be back tomorrow with a big pile of cheeseburgers, he promised. Louis came every afternoon to play with Alphonse. In the mornings, he earned the money for the cheeseburgers by delivering newspapers. The training continued as well. Louis would say, Alphonse, retrieve! And Alphonse would succeed every time. As summer vacation passed, Louis became more and more worried about what would happen to Alphonse when the high school kids returned. So here he is with the rug. They snuck him in, right? And then he's coming back, playing with him and feeding him. Look how humongous he is. He's huge. And how do we know that he's huge? What is he in that he needs so much space? Yeah, the swimming pool, right? That tells you how huge he is. After his first day of classes, Louis ran to the high school and found the gym bustling with activity. The swim team was heading for the pool. Stop! Cried Louis. On your mark, bellowed the coach. Get set! Excuse me, sir, said Louis. Go! Roared the coach. Alphonse rose to the surface to welcome the swimmers. It's a submarine from another planet, shrieked the coach. Call the police! Call the Navy! No, it's only a tadpole, said Louis. He's my pet. The coach was upset and confused. You have until tomorrow, he cried, to get that creature out of the pool. Can you imagine going to swim class, right? And you're about to jump in, and this is what greets you? I think I would be scared too. Look, all the boys are running upstairs. Louis telephoned his friend, Mrs. Severs, the librarian, and asked her for help. I'll be right there, she said. Miss Severs rushed to meet Louis at the high school. When she saw Alphonse, she was so startled that she dropped her purse into the water. Retrieve, said Louis, and Alphonse did. Where did this outstanding animal come from? Cried Miss Severs. He was a birthday gift from my uncle, Louis replied. Miss Severs telephoned Uncle McAllister. Oh, the wee tadpole, he said. Why, he came from the lake nearby. It's the one folks called Loch Ness. So this is probably a Loch Ness monster. Brace yourself, Louis, Mrs. Severs said. I believe your uncle found the Loch Ness monster. I don't care, cried Louis. Alphonse is my friend, and I love him. He pleaded with Miss Severs to help him raise enough money to buy the parking lot so he could build a big swimming pool for Alphonse. Boys and girls, I think it's nice that he wants to raise the money to make that swimming pool. There's even an article, right? But what do you think? He keeps on growing. Do you think that there's going to be a point where he stops growing, where Louis making this swimming pool there is worth raising all that money? I don't know, right? What we know about Loch Ness monsters is they live in a lake, and the lake is humongous. Suddenly, Miss Severs had an idea. Long ago, a pirate ship sank in the harbor, she said. No one has ever been able to find it or its treasure chest. But perhaps we can. They're off on a mission, right? The next morning, they drove to the harbor and rented a boat. This is a treasure chest, cried Lewis. Retrieve! Alphonse disappeared under the water and returned with the chest. It was filled with gold and jewels. Let's buy the parking lot and get to work, cried Miss Severs. As a librarian, she's super excited, right? To learn more about this Loch Ness monster. Look how easy it was. He showed him a picture of it, and then he went down and he just got the treasure chest in his mouth. Lewis's parents were shocked to see a construction crew in the parking lot. Lewis, they cried. What in the world is going on here? Alphonse found a pirate treasure ship, explained Lewis, and we used part of our gold to buy you this present. Lewis's parents were shocked once again. Tickets for a vacation cruise to Hawaii? Now, why do you think he would buy his parents tickets to Hawaii? Definitely because he loves them, but probably to kind of not have them mad that he just bought the parking lot next door to put a pool in for Alphonse, right? And, said Lewis, you don't have to worry about us because Granny has agreed to babysit. They hugged Lewis, they kissed Alphonse. How soon can we leave? They cried. They want no part of this mess. Immediately, said Lewis. Now, usually when you buy tickets, you have to plan to leave. So you don't normally leave the same day you buy them. Look how big Alphonse is getting. By the time Lewis's parents returned, the swimming pool was being enjoyed by everyone in the city. A week later, Lewis said, Alphonse, tomorrow is my birthday, which means that you've been my best friend for a whole year. The next day, Uncle McAllister arrived for the party. What do you think Uncle McAllister is going to get Lewis this year for his birthday party? Greetings, Lewis, my lad, he exclaimed. I've come with a curious stone from the hills of Scotland. Happy birthday! Wow, thanks, said Lewis. Suddenly the stone began to tremble and crack. Was it really a stone? No, let me show you. Look at his new pet. What in the world kind of bird is that? Oh, geez, all over again, right? So how's the problem with Alphonse solved? Think about it from the beginning to the end. How did they solve the problem of him growing up so fast, right? And what problem might the new birthday gift cause? So think about that. We know what happened with Alphonse, right? First, he was a tadpole, or what we thought was a tadpole, but then he started getting too big. And after he got too big for the jar, he went into the sink. And after he got too big for the sink, he went into the tub. And after the tub, the swimming pool. And he wasn't allowed to stay in the swimming pool because it's a school swimming pool. So what was the next problem? It wasn't that they didn't have a place for him. What did they need first? Yeah, money. So they solved that problem. And then they were able to make the pool next door for him. So think about it. Think about what this new pet, what kind of problems is it going to cause? How big is it going to get? What does it eat? What is it? Okay, that's what your job is. You don't really have to write it down for me or put it in a video, but I want you to think about that. All right, bye.